What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Spread Astaire. Yesterday, we did the Eastern Conference, and we brought in some more experts, and we're going to break down the West today. I'm joined by AP, Glockoma, and Tyler. Will be making another late, great entrance, so we'll be bringing him to talk about everything. But AP, we usually see you on Friday. Excited to talk to you today. How are you feeling about these playoffs?
Yeah, feeling good. It's setting up to be, really fun playoffs in the NBA. We have two more fun games tonight, that we'll get to obviously, but yeah, I'm this is the time of the year that's a ton of fun. Really fun to break these matchups down. And I think we have some good ones too.
Yep, and we have our man on the street in Dallas, Glaucoma. He just left the trainer's room at American Airlines Arena. Glaucoma, happy to have you today.
What's up, Fred? Yeah, nice to be here. Yeah, I got the inside scoop that Luka will be out tomorrow, so should make that game one. Should make that game one interesting, and excited to break that series down as well as all of the other
I
Western
mean,
Conference series.
Glock, real quick. I don't know if you were watching the morning show, but shots completely fired. Big T, big boy bet, I believe, on the Jazz over the Mavs. I mean, what's the rebuttal? I don't know if Big T's watching, but man, he was all over Luka and your boys there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I know. My feelings are already hurt that Luka's out, and he just hurt him even more, with the morning show. But I don't blame him. Like it's just really bad timing for sure. Obviously, you want your best player on the floor, in this series, and I thought the Mavs would have a really good chance if he's in. So just determining on the severity of the game or of the injury, like how many games he misses, I think that's really going to determine if the Mavs have a shot. And I guess if you look on the bright side, Spencer Dinwiddie is a max player, right? So now it's time to go out and prove it. And I'll give my thoughts on the matchups and like the specifics in the half court of what I think the Mavs can exploit. But obviously, when you lose a player like Luka for 1, 2, 3 games, however many it may be, it's the cards will definitely be stacked against you for sure. And Utah always seems to play better in the playoffs. They haven't been in that best of form as of late, but Donnie Mitch always seems to show up in the playoffs, so it should be fun.
All right, well, let's jump right into that series. First of all, I don't think Utah always plays that well in the playoffs, right? I mean, they're a team that we've traditionally loved during the regular season, especially at home, and then been able to fade in the playoffs. I don't know that missing Luka, especially if it's only for a couple games, is necessarily the kiss of death going against this Utah team that's definitely had chemistry issues so far this season, right? It's all going around how Donovan Mitchell averages more passes to people on the other team in the form of turnovers than he does passes to Rudy Gobert. There's constantly been friction between that team. Probably for a winning team, one of the least athletic perimeters in the NBA. So our guys, Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie, have a great chance to get involved here tonight or tomorrow and make a big contribution here. I'm not necessarily on this being a shoe in for the Jazz if Luka misses the first 2 to 3 games. And in fact, I think that Mavericks price is a little bit enticing here at plus 243 with the idea that I wouldn't be too surprised to see them, pull a split there, and then you get them back. I'd be feeling pretty good about my chances there. It just seems like Dallas is more of a team, and I think they play better perimeter defense. Now, of course, Utah's got that anchor in Rudy Gobert. They can erase those perimeter mistakes. But hey, athletic team that plays well together, a little superstar subtraction. I'm not joining Big T for sure, and I'm a little tempted to jump in on Dallas. What do you think, AP?
I agree with you. So I'm against our boy Big T on this one too. So when I look at Dallas, all right. So look, the series is going to start off in Utah, first 2 games, and
Dallas,
No, it
AP.
starts in Dallas.
Oh, it's in Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, well, mind you, like that's still not like a huge deal. I mean, it is tough to go to Utah. But I mean, if they get, let's just say Luka is out maybe 2 games. If you go 1-1, steal, win, get Luka back, I mean, you're still right there. But for me, it's more so this Dallas Mavericks team, Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, two extremely good defenders out there on the wing. That takes away a lot of what this Jazz team wants to do. So, I mean, guys, I think they have more than a puncher's chance. If they're dogs on the series, I definitely like that. I think it's going to be one of these fun series, though. I think it goes 6-7 games. Hopefully get Luka back towards, the middle or the end. But I like your guys' chances. And I don't I think Dinwiddie, I mean, he's fine. Like, is he really a max player? I didn't know he had a max deal.
Yeah,
it's
does
close.
He have a max deal?
It's
yeah,
close to
I don't
max,
think it is. I think it's around 20.
It's close. Yeah. If it's 20 mil a year, I consider them, that's basically the max, right?
I mean, I consider him and Jalen Brunson like the same guy. So you have two guys that can create, that are proven throughout the season. Like Brunson might even be better than Dinwiddie, to be honest. At least he showed it. So you got the defense. You just need shooting. And you need, if they can come out, if Bullock, Finney-Smith, they're 3-and-D guys, they got to come out and hit their threes, and I think they'll be fine. What about, is Bertans ever going to do anything? Like, the guy's unathletic. He's not been good at all, and the only thing he's good at is hitting these, big, long, sexy threes, which he hasn't been doing. He needs to come in and hit something. I think that will help to stretch this Jazz team out a little bit defensively, and will allow, Dinwiddie and others to do a little bit more inside, you would think. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun series. I think Dallas wins and upsets them, if you want to call it an upset. And hopefully they get Luka back, maybe in game 3, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I'm envisioning it here, Glock, right? I mean, if I can just say, hey, can we get it to a game 7? I got Luka Doncic at home in a game 7, and I got plus 243. Seems like a pretty good bet to me. But I know you have a more in-depth breakdown. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I think that's the goal, right? If Luka misses these first 2 games, I think the Mavs' clear goal is to just split the games 1-1, right? And based on the severity of the calf injury, right? If it's mild to grade 1, I've been listening to podcasts. That's 7 to 10 days of recovery, they're saying, on average. And so, he got hurt on Sunday. You go to the next Sunday, which would be 7 days, and then game 3 would be on Thursday, which is about 10 days after the injury, right? So I think that's the most realistic outlook on when Luka's coming back. So yeah, like AP said, the goal is to go 1-1, I think, if you're the Mavs. And then if you get 1-1, you're super happy with the outcome. And, I don't want to say Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie are Luka Doncic, right? Obviously, they're not generational talents, but the way the Mavs run their offense, it's pick and rolls, pick and roll, 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 right? And Spencer Dinwiddie, Jalen Brunson, they can do that, not to the level Luka can, but they can run it at a very high level. And what Utah does is they play that drop defense. They either switch all the time or they play drop with Rudy Gobert. So Rudy Gobert is going to switch on to the guy that's pick and rolling. So just imagine Brunson coming across the screen. He's going to have all that mid-range to work with while Rudy Gobert drops. And I personally think Jalen Brunson, his best shots are in the mid-range. And his mid-range is arguably better than Luka Doncic's. So, I think we're going to know really quickly how successful this Mavs team can be off that first pick and roll. You're going to see either they're going to switch or Rudy Gobert is going to drop. And you're going to see Jalen Brunson pull up from that mid-range, do a little floater. And based on that success is I think, going to be the key to whether the Mavs or not can win a game and split the games without Luka. So I think what AP said with Bertans, I was watching some press conferences and they are willing to go small. They did name drop Bertans at the 5 and, to stretch Rudy Gobert out, right? Because they don't want him in the paint when people like Spencer Dinwiddie or Jalen Brunson are driving to the hole, So I think we will see some Dorian Finney-Smith at the 5, Bertans at the 5. I think Dwight Powell might be affected because his pick and roll game without Luka isn't as strong as it is with him. So I think we could see some minutes get reduced on his side, although he has been playing great. I just think he's better with Luka in there because they have a better connection than I think JB does with Powell, and then vice versa. So yeah, I mean, I think the goal is to split these first 2 games, let Luka come back Thursday in Utah. And then, yeah, I think the series is going to go 6 or 7 as well. I just think it's kind of hard to say which direction you think it will go. Obviously, if Luka's injury is as severe as it could be, then I would probably side with the Jazz, sadly. But if Luka comes back game 3, then I'm going to take my Mavs in 6 or 7 games for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the reason I haven't bet it, because how hurtful would it be, right? They're sitting on this plus 243. We get the 1-1, and Thursday comes out and he's limping, right? And you're like, okay, there's no way he's going, and he might not even make it back the whole series, because if he's out the whole time, then yeah, that's a good play here.
Yeah, well, one thing, Spread, like it's sad for me because the timing is just so bad, because you have one team like the Mavs that are kind of surging, right? Like since the new year, they've been peaking, they've been playing really well, and then Utah has just been kind of the opposite, where they're like a ticking time bomb ready to explode. Like you got rumors of Quinn Snyder like wanting to go coach the Spurs or the Lakers. You've got Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert not liking each other. The statistics where he only passes to Rudy twice a game, and you have actual reporters asking Donovan Mitchell, you only pass to Rudy Gobert twice. Do you know why that is? And he's just like, he doesn't really have an answer for it. And so like a team like Utah, that's like a ticking time bomb. If we had Luka to start the series, we could really stomp on their necks and just put a message on the series and really take control. But, now that we don't have them, they might feel opportunistic, and, if they take the first game, their confidence will be sky high, which is unfortunate, from a Mavs fan perspective. So, yeah.
Don't the Mavericks still have a winning record with like Luka out this year too? Like aren't they like 9-7 or something? So yeah, I like the Mavs game 1 +5. I like, I mean, if Luka's in there, what's the line? Like it just seemed like they got to be favorites, right?
He's worth 8. They would be -3 or -4.
Right. So I think that's too big of an adjustment, in my opinion. Like 8 points is a lot.
They're going to run the offense the same. They're going to run the offense the exact same. It's just, the types of plays that Luka can make versus Brunson and Dinwiddie. It's different, but you're going to get the pick and roll, and you're just going to make plays off of that. So I don't think
threes too.
Yeah, exactly.
Ton of threes, I think.
Exactly. And the key is, like, if you remember, these Mavs teams, the core has kind of stayed the same within these past few years, right? And they've only played the Clippers in the playoffs. Like, it doesn't get much harder than Kawhi Leonard and Paul George guarding you out in the perimeter. Last year, Jalen Brunson absolutely disappeared. He did not show like a third scoring option behind Luka and KP. So he faced a lot of criticism. So going into this year, his contract year, there was a lot of pressure on him to produce. And what better time to produce than now in the playoffs when you don't have Luka in a contract year? I think, Brunson, he's going to have to play well. And if he does, he's going to earn this contract. And, any team will pay him a ton of money for sure. Like you guys said, the Dinwiddie contract. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Another reason that I do not like Utah here is their penchant for blowing leads. I mean, that was a storyline also to end the season, right? As they blew, I don't know how many in the last 6 weeks, right? To where, Donovan looked like he was almost going to cry on the stand talking about it during certain games. This team was ripe to be faded. And Hoop and I talked on Wednesday. Our plans were spoiled. We were going to fade whoever played the Bulls and whoever played the Jazz. And then the Bucks ended up -1,200. And then the Mavericks lose, their best player and a top 5 player in the world to going into the series. So I'm still tempted. I haven't hit submit, but I'll tell you what, it's Mavericks for me or pass, and credit to Big T for making the stand there, right? And maybe he's got guys in the American Airlines Arena, right, that aren't telling you everything, Glock, and he knows that this injury is worse than they're letting
I was surprised by that this morning listening, because he's usually a big time Jazz hater. So
yeah,
I'm surprised. I think it's going to punish him.
He hates the Mavs too.
So. Oh, he does hate the Mavs.
He hates the Mavs.
I've always been kind of like a closet Mavs homer, especially Luka Doncic. So yeah, but hopefully the Mavs take this one to own our boy Big T.
Yeah, earlier in the week, I actually took Mavs +210 to win the series. I'm sure it's wider now.
It's +243 right now.
Yeah, I took it because I actually thought Luka was going to play. Like, he's just a big game guy. He's toughed out injuries in the playoffs before. So seeing that news today kind of hurt me a little bit. But I still do think they have a chance without him. I just hope that, at most he misses 2 games and he's back on Thursday in Utah, ready to go.
I think they do too. I mean, another tempting thing is, do I just wait if they drop game 1, right? Then I'm getting like a +3 something. That could be an even more lucrative look there. So haven't gotten involved yet, but for me, it's Mavericks or pass. Our next series, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the winner of pretty much the best playing game we saw so far, right? That was a lot of
The
fun.
championship playing.
Yeah.
Pat Bev celebrating.
Yeah, that was, yeah. Don't get me started on that. Plus 289 on the Timberwolves there, minus 345 for the Grizzlies. Interesting performance there from the Timberwolves on Monday night. They were better without Towns. Him fouling out was the best thing that happened to that team in that game. He was concentrating on the referees. He was in this little like tit for tat where he was trying to accentuate all the contact he got because he felt like some of the foul calls he got were unfair. Whether or not they were, that's not how you act. That's not how professionals act, and the referees aren't going to respond to that when you're out there acting like a kid. And he looked like a spoiled kid out there. And I like Karl Anthony Towns, and I'm really hoping he's going to be good. But he's 27 years old. It's not like we can say, oh, he's a young kid, right? With like Anthony Edwards or something. Like he's 20. LaMelo Ball, right? I don't want to go too hard on LaMelo Ball. He can't even go to a bar yet, So it's like, I don't expect him to be this huge alpha leader, but at 27 years old, I expected more from Towns. Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell looked absolutely fantastic when it mattered. What a great combination they had back there, but that arena was rocking. It'll be interesting to see how things look in Memphis. Now, I do think that they match up with this Memphis team fairly well. But Memphis has just been so good, whether or not Ja Morant plays. I mean, this is just a solid team inside and out, well coached. All the players fit together, well constructed as a team. The price is too high, though, to get involved. And I do think the Timberwolves can keep it close. So I'm not going to like lay the games here, not like a -1.5 either. So far, I have nothing on this series because I think the Grizzlies win, but I don't want to lay the juice. What do you think, AP?
Yeah, so I kind of think the Grizzlies, like when I think of this team with how good they've been, and you hear it, like we've heard it down the stretch, like this team's good with or without Ja, huge expectations. Got a buddy in Memphis, talked to him quite a bit, like huge expectations from this team. When on the other side of this matchup, you got a Wolves team that's kind of surprised and coming in with momentum. And Pat Bev, I think, has been a spark plug for this team. He has them trying on defense. And you got a lot of guys there. I mean, like Jared Vanderbilt has just been phenomenal. You got Edwards playing good. And like you said, D'Lo playing good as well. And then you got like a bunch of you got a deep bench there. Like Taron Prince didn't even play. I thought he was going to be a huge piece in that game against the Clippers to help with Paul George. He was out that game. And so you got so many options that you can go to on this bench too that I think are somewhat viable. I have this series as my sneaky upset. So I'm pretty convinced that the Grizzlies are going to underwhelm. And I think the Wolves, and shout out to our boy Matty Ice, because I know he's a big Timberwolves fan. I think the Wolves are going to shock. And I just think it's not like any one of these guys. I just think you got Towns, Edwards has stepped up at times, and D'Angelo Russell. What I saw last game was really impressive from him. So maybe he's peaking at the right time too. And then you just got this like unconventional leader in Pat Bev, if you want to call him that or not, whatever he is. He's pesky. He gets them fired up, and seems like he gets this team a little bit inspired. So give me the Wolves here with an upside, another series that I think goes like 6 or 7 games.
All right. So I lean Memphis, but I didn't like the number. AP likes the upset, especially at the number. What do you think, Glock?
I love that actually, because I'm not like a Ja Morant hater by any means, but like just like the MVP talks when Ja kind of irked me, because if you just saw what Memphis was doing without him, like, they're good without him. Tyus Jones is like, he could start as point guard for any other team in the league for sure. So it's like, I don't know. I kind of hated on Ja for that. And I kind of lean with AP, honestly, because like, if you compare, 1 second.
Your dog does not want that Ja Morant slander. Your dog's back
Your
there
dog
wearing a
disagrees
Ja
with
Morant
that.
jersey
Yeah,
going.
she's a Ja Morant fan. All right, but yeah. So like, if you compare the roster apple to apples, like, I kind of think Minnesota kind of edges them out. Like, you take Pat Bev, he's going to guard Ja Morant, right? And obviously those two don't really compare. But if Pat Bev can somewhat, minimize Ja Morant's game Then it becomes about the secondary players, right? Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson. I mean, you compare any of those three versus Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns versus Steven Adams. I think I give the edge in talent to the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? I don't know. I think Pat Bev versus Ja Morant, I'm going to get my popcorn for it. I'm going to be ready for this matchup. They're definitely going to get in each other's faces at least once in this series. No doubt about it. It's just like Ja is considered like a star right now, right? If he can take his team to the next level with Pat Bev guarding him, play at a high level, beat the Minnesota Timberwolves and play well, I think that's when you're going to like, I'll gain he'll gain my respect from a superstar perspective. And yeah, if he can come out with a win on Minnesota, but I think I do lean the same as AP. Honestly, I think Minnesota will take them 6 or 7 games. 7 games, Minnesota is my official pick. I just think Pat Bev versus Ja Morant is like a huge key in this series. If Pat Bev keeps his head on straight, doesn't do anything stupid, gets ejected, can minimize Ja, then it's going to come down to the other Memphis role players, and it's going to be kind of what we saw with the Clippers Minnesota game, right? So, and D'Angelo Russell and Edwards are going to go off. I don't think Karl Anthony Towns will have as much trouble as he did in the last series. We'll see. I don't know if Memphis will do the same game plan as the Clippers did, where they just try to double him, make him frustrated. But obviously it worked. And then it's going to come down to whether D'Lo and Edwards can pick up the slack. So I think Minnesota in 7 is my pick. I think we're covering the series that are going to go long, that have upset potential. And I think the next 2 series are more straightforward. So yeah.
Okay, let me offer a couple counterpoints there. You're right, probably about the more talented roster. I like the way this Memphis roster fits a little better. And also, I think that Memphis is going to have a big advantage when it comes to defense and rebounding. Let's go ahead and look at rim protection. Karl Anthony Towns, one of the worst rim protectors in the league. So then they have to get those minutes with Naz Reid, and that's why I thought they looked better when Towns was out, because they still had Anthony and Russell to score, but it was harder for the Clippers to score. So I got Steven Adams down low, and then I can also switch him to Jaren Jackson, who I both think provide better defense in the middle than Karl Anthony Towns, and I'd say even more than Naz Reid, although I'd say Naz Reid is a lot closer to those. And then on the wings, I just have a bunch of guys that can give these guys problems. We talked about Desmond Bane and Dylan Brooks, and while they might not be the offensive juggernauts that Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell are, at least I know I'm getting good, solid defense. They're staying in front of their guys, and even if they beat my man, they're going to have to work really hard to do it. And then, I'm not a big Westbrook guy, but I think Ja Morant's going to cook Pat Bev. Like, if you say this comes down to Pat Bev versus Ja Morant, I like Memphis even more. I know he's great, and I know he's pesky, and maybe he's going to annoy some guys. But when you're just so much more athletic and physically talented, like Ja Morant is over Pat Bev, I just don't think the little like nudges and hip checks and everything is going to bother him. I could be wrong here, right? They don't have a lot of playoff experience. They got that great win over the Warriors last year and then went out in the first round. It was not to Phoenix. Who did they go out to? I can't remember off the top of my head. But a first round loss for the Memphis Grizzlies last year. They don't have a lot of playoff winning experience, but just in their ability to defend and grab those boards, I think Memphis will play better defense, and they're going to have the advantage on the glass.
They lost to Utah 4-1 in round 1 last year.
Okay, and I guess that's not the not the best team. Although I thought the Utah was better last year.
They were the 1 seed. Utah was the 1 seed last year.
They were younger. Mike Conley wasn't as dusty. They had Joe Ingles last year, so Bogdanovich and Ingles I thought were more of like a 2-weapon there. And Conley was just a little better, but yeah, overall, not great losing to Utah, but that was their first experience. So we have differing perspectives there, but I think that's why people tune in. They don't want to just hear us agree about everything. Anything more on that series before we move on?
They're a young team spread, right? So
they're both young, right?
Yeah. Generally with these young teams, you see them take their playoff licks, right? You see them lose, and then they learn. And, sometimes they do well in the regular season, obviously, like Memphis is doing, right? And right now, I consider them a regular season team. They could prove me wrong this year, right? Going far in the playoffs. But, I haven't seen enough from them in the playoffs. And I would consider Pat Bev, you probably compare all his playoff games versus the rest of the Memphis Grizz. I think he has more than all of them combined, most likely. So
Yeah,
I
maybe
mean,
Adams throws that number off. But
yeah,
yeah.
I side with experience here. I mean, this is where Ja can take his leap, right? This is where he can really show what he's got because you're not going to get a quote unquote tougher defensive assignment than Pat Bev on you, mentally and physically, right? So if he can show what he's made of here, then the news lines will be buzzing about Ja Morant going into the next round, no doubt.
Well, and that's pretty fun, Glock, because I think that we both see a key matchup here. We just see a different way in the way that plays out, right? I think
Exactly.
he's going to have an easy time with them. You think he'll trouble him, and let's be honest. If we're on here and the next time you come on the show, I'm like, Glock, you're right. He gave him problems. I wouldn't be super surprised, but the way that I'm leaning right now is that Ja Morant's athleticism and ability is just going to be too much, even for all those old veteran tricks. AP, you want to give us the last word on the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves and move on?
Yeah, I mean, both, I think all three of us made really good points. Just for my buddy's sake, I would like the Grizzlies to win, but yeah,
At
for
that
Matty
price,
Ice's
though,
sake, I want the Wolves
yeah.
to win. But otherwise, I
Yeah.
don't care too much about who wins this series. But yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and if you want to argue at plus 289, you're getting some good value. I can't necessarily argue that. Like minus 345 is too much for me to lay, even in a parlay, because some of the things that you guys said could surface, right? And then I mean, I didn't get very good odds at all at minus 345. Don't see a lot of value there. Just showing you the way that I broke down the series and why I'm staying away from the bet. And this one's fun. And I talked with Holden about it this morning, but let's do it again right now. The Denver Nuggets in Golden State, San Francisco, taking on the Warriors. Jokic, boy, how much can those shoulders carry? He's been carrying the team all year. He gets an opportunity to do it in the playoffs. Hey, we were waiting on injury news from Dallas. Same thing with Golden State, although it appears to be a much rosier outlook. And I hate to make too much of these videos, right? But I'm sure you guys saw it too, right? He was out there cutting, looking good, jumps on Draymond Green's podcast, says, hey, I'm good to go. Steve Kerr says, yeah, we're most likely going to play him. He's going to be on a minutes limit, but I never buy it on those minute limit thing. I don't understand why you would give a competitive advantage such as that. So it seems more like coach speak than something that I'm going to take as a gospel as far as Curry's minutes being limited. To me, this series comes down to Curry's health, though. If he is healthy, he's got so much more help. Golden State Warriors, deeper. We talked about playoff experience. They've got it. The Nuggets do have some as well. But not necessarily this group of players that's out there. So if Curry's healthy, I think this could be a quick one for the Warriors. But if he's not 100%, Jokic can steal some games. What do you think, AP?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you, but also disagree on one point. I think the key to the series is Draymond Green.
Mm-hmm.
So the Warriors are 1-3 against the Nuggets on the season. One game they punted, they had scrubs in, and they kept it close. Jordan Poole, almost by himself, carried this team to upset the Nuggets. Game one, I believe it was just Curry. I don't think Clay was in there. Draymond wasn't in there either. Then game two, I think it was just like, again, Draymond wasn't in there. So we have yet to see Draymond play in all four games this season. I think he's going to be key. And with Chef Curry back, I mean, it's a huge, boost to this team. Him and Draymond's connection, especially in the playoffs, just massive. But even if he is limited, and I don't believe any of that coach speak to, it's the playoffs. These guys are going to play, especially if they can. But man, Jordan Poole has been so impressive. Like, I mean, it's like crazy how good he's been. I think they're fine whether Curry is limited or not. I mean, this team has so much firepower. It's like, I don't see how the Nuggets are going to be able to keep pace, assuming Draymond is teeing it up for these guys. And I'm confident he will be able to. And then on the defensive end, I think that's where the key is going to be with Draymond back. But I think he's going to be the key in this series. I think without him, it's a much different story. I think the Nuggets, and that's the team I would like to see win. Love Jokic, closet Nuggets fan too, big time. They probably need someone, but they need like Jamal Murray back or someone. And I have no idea what his status was. I know Big T was talking about it earlier on the show. Doesn't seem like he's going to play much. Maybe you guys know a little bit more about that than me, but I do think the Warriors close them out here. I think it's like a 5-1, maybe 6-2 or 4-2 type of or 4-1 4-2 type of series, 5 to 6 games, something like that. But I got the Warriors in this one. And the reason behind it is just Draymond. I think Draymond being in there is the key difference maker for the Warriors.
All right. AP likes Warriors with Draymond as an X factor. What do you think, Glock?
Yeah, I'm gonna side with you guys as well. I just really wish like Denver had Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., right? Because if they had those
This would
two
have been
guys,
awesome.
I think this series
Yeah.
would have been amazing. You could probably shoe it in for 7 games. Like, and the reason why I say that is because I think right now Jokic, what Golden State's gonna do, they're just gonna send the double and they're gonna make someone else beat them. Monty Morris instead of Jamal Murray, right? Will Barton has not looked like he's looked like a shell of himself. Like last year, he looked so incredible. We were rostering on a ton of DFS slates, and he was like an automatic 50-40 piece on most nights. But this year, he just hasn't been performing well, right? You have Aaron Gordon playing better, but do you really trust him as a secondary, offensive scorer like behind Jokic? I don't. And because of that, I lean Warriors in 5. I kind of just want to give Denver 2 games just out of respect of Jokic, but with a healthy Curry, it's hard for me to see like, and like AP said, Draymond is a huge X factor, right? And I've always been a huge proponent of if Draymond is in and Curry's in, they make each other so much better. Like those two just have great synergy. They seem to play better when both of them are in. When one of them is out, they definitely seem more disconnected. So yeah, I'm gonna say Warriors in 5. Could be 6, but I think the series will go quick. I just think the defensive game plan that the Warriors can employ, it could look similar to the Cat thing where, they're just going to send that double, make the secondary guys beat them. And obviously, maybe Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, Monte Morris has a really good game. Jokic is going to get his, but, the games that Monte Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon doesn't play well, then, Golden State's just going to shut him out. And yeah, I agree with you guys on the Steph Curry coach speak. Steve Kerr has always been kind of like, really bad when it comes to that stuff. So I think he'd be a full go if he's in starting. And, you're going to see the Warriors at full health, basically, versus a Nuggets team that is missing 2 of their key pieces. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Warriors here. Much easier than the other series. 5 or 6 games for me.
All right, yeah. Otter's talking about Aaron Gordon as a DFS look. Yeah, he's definitely going to have the usage there. I mean, if I were to throw out a prediction, I'm saying game 1. Jokic scores 37, 17 rebounds, 11 assists. Nuggets lose by 9, right? I mean, I can just see so many lines like that.
Think about Aaron Gordon. Why I'm on board with as a DFS play. He won our boy, the man, $1 million a couple weeks back. So incredible play. He was like 0.5% owned. Like, wasn't he under 1% owned?
Yeah, he was. That? Yeah, for sure.
All right.
The man has some balls because I'm not playing Aaron Gordon in that spot. So.
Neither am I. I'm not an Aaron Gordon guy at all.
That's why I haven't won $1 million playing DFS yet. But we're getting close. We're getting close.
Yeah, we'll meet you there by next year, maybe even this playoffs. So, all right, we've taken care of those 3 series. Let's jump into tonight. And boy, the news has just been wild. We're going to start with the Hawks and the Cavaliers. And that was the one that I thought was going to be uncertain, right? Because we don't know about Bogdan now. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but I remember Bogdan rolled his ankle in game 1. Most people probably turned it off, but instead of betting the Hawks, I bet the over. So I'm still watching it and sweating it out. And, a little bit worried. He was fine for the rest of the game. He didn't even go out when it happened. But we know how those ankles are. So I guess it's swelled back up now. He's questionable. Jarrett Allen has consistently been upgraded throughout the day. When I woke up, he was, doubtful to questionable, now probable, no change. Bogdanovic still has the Q tag here. So interesting matchup with the Atlanta Hawks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Home teams have won all 4 games of the play-in. Cavaliers are hoping to keep that going. And if they have Jarrett Allen back, that's a big boost. The big question, though, is he forcing it? Can he really get out there? Should he be able to play? Everyone's going to say it's just a finger. Yeah, it's on his dominant shot blocking hand and on his shooting hand. That's not going to be comfortable, especially when you're in there jostling around with all those other big bodies like Gallinari, Okongwu, and of course Clint Capella. So interesting to see how Allen does. If he comes out fully healthy, the pick that I'm going to give is maybe sunk, but I don't know if he's 100% healthy. And I love the way the Hawks match up with Cleveland Cavaliers because how do you attack the Hawks? They're very weak on defense with their superstar Trae Young, right? I got Isaac Okoro to hide him on. I got Lamar Stevens to hide him on. Even Rondo. I mean, yeah, Rondo's been doing all right, but I mean, I'm fine if Rondo becomes a focal point of your offense and you're getting the ball out of Darius Garland's hand. Darius Garland did everything he could to keep that team in it, and I appreciate it because they got the cover for us. So I'm never going to say anything bad about Darius Garland. But almost like that Nugget situation, the rest of the team is not there yet. Also, was not impressed with the way that Bickerstaff handled the end of that game. I don't understand why Markkanen was out there and not Kevin Love. Markkanen misses that crucial three that maybe could have brought them back. That was the chance. When he missed, you knew it was over, right? I'm thinking Kevin Love probably makes that shot, guys. Are we losing that much defensively? Because I don't think Markkanen's that good a defender. Really surprised. And the other one was Rondo. Why was Rondo not out there to close the game? Give me the veteran. Give me the guy that, really at this point, he's got nothing to prove. He's playing with house money. I was really surprised that he didn't go with his veterans in that spot. So be interested to see if he fixes that. Because if he closes with Markkanen and Okoro, I mean, come on. So I'm going to take the Hawks -2 AP. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to bet against, Mr. Ice Trae Young, but guy, I really like the Cavs here, so I'm gonna be against you against spread, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I think Jared Allen be back. Look, this guy, he's got a sprained finger. Like, it's not like it's a knee injury or anything like that. Tape that up. You need him in there for his defense. Like, I mean, yeah, his what he does at the rim is huge, but like a sprained feet, he's still going to be able to like catch and slam and then play defense like he does. So I think he's going to be a huge difference maker there. And it's not like an injury where he's going to be limited. Like, why would you, like, you're not going to have any type of minutes limit at all. And I think like people might not understand that DFS wise too today. And, that if they don't look into it a little bit further. So I think him being back is just huge here. And I think if you just look at the game the other day, Tuesday, like, I thought the Nets were going to run away with it. They're up by 20 in the first quarter. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, this is the Nets team that I've been expecting for a while. We're in the playoffs. KD's going to do his thing. Garland and company, mainly Garland. I mean, this dude is incredible. Like, he is such a talented guy. I think, what he can do defensively too. He's kind of like a wash, in my opinion, him versus Trae. And so now if you look at the other pieces on this team, I love the veterans that we have on the Cleveland side with Kevin Love, obviously off the bench and everything. So I think he's going to help out a little bit there. And then, the only thing I do agree with you on spread is like Lauri Markkanen. I'm not a big marketing guy. Not going to play him in DFS, but man, if he could hit some shots, that would obviously help. But I think the key here is Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, the twin towers down there in the paint is just huge. I think it's going to force a lot of outside shots, but you got Trae Young, so I mean anything is possible. Dude is absolutely nasty. I wonder if like what people are going to do DFS wise too, because he kind of underwhelmed last game, 8 for 24 from the field. They absolutely stomped Charlotte, which I think a lot of us kind of expected. Just Charlotte's been a disaster come playoff time. Just too young. And I mean, you can't expect LaMelo Ball, kind of like you said, just a young kid to carry this team yet. So I think Garland's ready though, man. I think he's ready to be that guy. I love what I saw against the Nets. They battled back, made it a game. And I like that they're slight dogs here at home. So I like the Cavs in this one. I think Allen is going to be a difference maker in there. And then I think Love off the bench too. And then you obviously got Rondo. I think those pieces there are going to be the key difference here against the Hawks tonight.
All right. And we have some great news right now because he finally finished counting all the money from cashing all those parlays. Tyler's here with us. Tyler, we're talking about the Hawks and the Cavaliers tonight. I like the Hawks. AP just made a great case for the Cavaliers. You want to jump in and give us your thoughts?
Yeah, first I want to apologize for being late. That's my fault, fellas. I got added to the injury report last night. I'm day-to-day with a little bit of a toothache, so I slept in a little bit today. But so what? You said we're on the Hawks-Cavs game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to side with the Hawks here. I mean, what was JSU preaching to us the last couple of days, Spread? Stars winning the playoffs? Like, I think the Cavs are good. If Jared Allen goes out there and plays, like, even if he's 80%, that broken finger is on his hand he blocks most of his shots with. He even said it multiple times. He's like, I don't want to come back until I'm 100% because I could go up to block someone's shot, and with the way I play, I could be back in the locker room in 5 minutes into the game. So he's going to be very ginger tonight if he even plays. So I got to take the Hawks, and I think their bench is a little deeper than Cleveland's.
All right, AP, I heard you wanted to say something. Let's hear it.
Oh, I was just going to say, Darius Garland isn't a star. I mean, this is the guy looked like a star last week, Tyler.
He's a star, but it's one of them things like, it's like we consider LaMelo Ball like a star. We consider Garland a star.
I mean, LaMelo Ball's he's like your LA type star. Like he's not like I don't want to. I mean, he's going to be a fantastic talent.
He's not a real basketball star. He's a DFS star.
He's going to be. But right now, I think Garland is kind of taking that next step, man. He's looking credible to me, but it's good. I can't wait for this game. I think this is going to be a fantastic game tonight. So,
yeah, after those duds on Wednesday night, I think we're going to have some great games tonight. So, divided panel here. Glaucoma, jump in. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna break the tie. I'm gonna take Atlanta as well with you guys to break the trend.
It's cold over here, fellas. It's cold over here.
It's ice tray season, AP. But yeah, I mean, like Tyler said, it's the superstars are gonna carry you in the playoffs. Like obviously Trey had a bad game, but Charlotte always seems to kind of have his number with that Martin brother. Always seems to have they have a good game plan against him. I'm not sure if Cleveland can employ the same game plan where they're going to trap him. And, after you look at Trey and you look at the other weapons that Atlanta has, Kevin Huerter, he's done well in the playoffs. Danilo Gallinari, he's a veteran. He can get the job done. Obviously, the Bogdanovich Q tag is huge, but I just think if he's out, then that just raises the minute ceilings even more on people like Trey, Hunter, Huerter, Gallinari. And, one key thing I was thinking about, going into tonight was like, I thought Clint Capella, I don't mean to go into the DFS side, but I thought Clint Capella was like a great play if Allen was out. And now that he's in, it makes me a little hesitant because it did seem like Atlanta was more committed to playing Clint Capella rather than Onyeka Okongwu. Like, I just think they're going to ride the veteran. He has good chemistry with Trey in the pick and roll. And, if Jared Allen was out, which he's not now, I feel like Clint Capella would have ate just like he ate against Charlotte. So now I kind of have to rethink that stance. But, I just think Atlanta as a whole on the road, they went to the Eastern Conference semifinals last year, put up a good fight against the Philadelphia 76ers, who a ton of people like in the East. Trey averages like 30 and 10 in the playoffs. I'm gonna take the more experienced team here. I think Cleveland is definitely surging and on the rise. With a young star-studded point guard and, young big men that can develop. They just need to figure out that wing. Like, I don't think they're going to get anywhere with someone like Isaac Okoro, starting for them. I think they need one more piece to take that next step. And
yeah, or Okoro just needs to develop a jump shot. I mean, all he needs is that corner three or something to just give the guy space. Almost, Matisse Thybulle's kind of in the same situation. Those guys are lockdown defenders. They can earn their minutes on the court, but when you're an absolute net negative on offense, right? I mean, I'll be happy to have Trey head over there and hang out with Okoro. And then as far as Capella, well, hey, McMillan with his veterans. That's something that Bickerstaff didn't do, which surprised me. McMillan went the more traditional route, and that's play the guy with the playoff experience there. But I would also say that big man success against the Hornets isn't necessarily predictive against the rest of the league, because I know that, this is more betting focused and just preview focused today. But on almost every show all year, right? If the Charlotte Hornets were playing, players we had interest in was the big man going opposite. And Montrezl Harrell was a big aspect of that, right? You say, because, hey, we missed a prop, right, Tyler? Who'd we miss? Bogey or Huerter, one of them, right? And it's because Montrezl Harrell was so bad, they just kept going to DeAndre Hunter because it was like, why would we not exploit this matchup here? This is so easy for us to take. Harrell, was that great high energy guy, just does not have it anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how things turn out tonight. AP, glad to see you taking the other side because I'll tell you what, I think you can make a good argument for Cleveland. These teams, they look a lot better at home, especially these young teams, than they do on the road. And they got caught, I mean, that's like getting hit by Tyson, right? In the first round. I mean, they were buzzed walking into the second quarter, walking, dazed back to their stool. They needed the smelling salts.
I got two questions. The first question is going to be for Tyler, but the second one for Glock. The one for Glock. How many times you got to explain to people why your DFS name is Glockoma? I feel like it comes up all the time.
Yeah, so I explained it on the podcast with Holden before. It's from a Lil Wayne song. He says, hit him with a Glock, put him in a coma. What that boy got, glaucoma. So it's like a play on words. It's not the eye disease, all right, guys. It's a lyric from a Lil Wayne song.
And then so Tyler, I think before you hopped on, or right around there, I was just talking about Jared Allen being back, being the difference maker, and the thing with his being a fractured finger, tape it. In my opinion, I was like, tape that shit up and he'll be fine. Maybe it's not the case. Maybe I've kind of overlooked that. Do you think, with that in mind, do you think they attack Jared Allen more with Capella to just force him into an uncomfortable situation tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to just go right at him, see how much he can actually protect the rim. If the dude's being like very hesitant to jump and block shots, then you got the rim all night. So, I mean, that's definitely a route to go. But it's something that, if, for instance, when the Suns played LA in the playoffs last year, when AD played that one game, everyone kind of sat back and watched AD play for the first couple minutes, and we realized he wasn't going to last the whole game just by the way he was running. Right. You hammered the Suns 2 minutes later, there goes AD to the locker room. So I think it's something to keep an eye on like that.
Yeah, I like that. I might have interest then in Capella tonight.
And an interesting way to do it too is I don't think you have to go 80 style and just feed him in the post. You run the pick and roll action with him, but you have him as a roll man. It's not a pick and pop. It's going to be a roll. And if they give any space at all, Trey's going to find Capella there. So I think they will be able to test him early. My issue for me having this bet, right? Because I've already placed it. I'm in. If he just swats that very first shot and his hand looks fine, it's going to be the what's the Simpson meme where the kid says, "I'm in danger," right? I mean, that's how I'll be feeling, right? But I don't know if I'm ready, and it's tough because, of course, we're basketball bettors and DFS prognosticators, not doctors. So, but that comes into this tonight. Tyler, they're asking for some player props in the chat. What are you thinking for this game?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely go to the points plus assist on both point guards. Trae Young's 40.5. Darius Garland's set at 34.5. I think they both get there. Just like we said, stars are going to shine in this game. Garland's going to shoot a ton of shots to try and keep them in the playoffs. And Trae Young's the same way. Looking at their threes props, Trae set at 3.5 plus 130. I like that. Hunter set at 1.5 plus 115. I don't mind that either. And shooting guards always kill this Atlanta team. So you got to think LeVert's in for a big game. His threes is set at 1.5 at plus 120. I like that. And his points are also set at 15.5. I think he beats both of those numbers.
All right. Glockoma, how are you approaching this from a DFS perspective tonight?
Yeah, so since AP had a question for me, I have a question for him. Garland at 8,500 on DraftKings. How hard is it gonna be for you not to roster him tonight? Because I think you're a Garland closet fan from seeing some of your cores this year. I know you love Garland, so
yeah, I'd be curious. I wish whenever DraftKings does that, like who you roster, that's always interesting. And also that you picked up on it, but yeah, I mean, Garland, 8,500 feels a little too cheap. He's going to play a ton of minutes. He's going to take a ton of shots too. Like, the only knock against him is, the peripherals haven't really been there. He's not going to have a ton of he's not a guy that's going to be crashing the boards, especially with Jared Allen back. So you're relying on basically raw scoring and assists. And I think with Karis LeVert being on the floor too kind of takes away from that. If you think of kind of the effect of like Jalen Brunson and Dinwiddie on the court with Luka, so that type of same effect. But 8,500, I mean, he's still a phenomenal play. I just think if I'm going Trae Young, so like here's my one tidbit with this game in DFS. If I'm going Garland, I don't think I'm going to do the traditional pair him with Trae Young. I think what I would do if I'm playing Trae Young is I'd play Karis LeVert. kind of get a little different because I think a lot of people are going to try to play both. What I would do is like play Garland with a guy like Kevin Huerter, especially if Bogdan's out. But I think Bogdan plays. And honestly, I think Bogdan's the guy that could go, probably will be lower owned, just worried about the ankle there. So a lot of different ways that you can go to get different because I know there's going to be guards that we want exposure to in the later game too.
All right. Anything more on this game? You guys ready? Oh, hold on. Quick question here. Tyler, what do you think of Kevin Love threes tonight?
Yeah, I don't hate it. He's going to be in a nice matchup too because if he gets Capella is not going to want to come out there. And if he plays the bench minutes against Okongwu, I don't think Okongwu's really going to want to come out there either. And he's been really hot from three, so definitely like his threes prop.
All right, Slugger looks like a good prop. All right, we're good on this game, right? You guys ready to hit tonight's game with the Clippers? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Clippers ruining my morning because I thought this was going to be my best bet for the day if it was how it was when I went to bed last night, and that was with Paul George playing. I really like the Clippers here. I know the Pelicans are a good team. Hey, they made that move. Looks like, they definitely got better as a team, and they're trying to win right now. Still not necessarily sold on this team. And the Clippers team, as bad as they looked against Minnesota, I mean, that was a competitive game. They got an extra day of rest, and they will be at home tonight. And then this Paul George thing just kind of threw me for a loop. Now, of course, the team is used to playing without him, right? So it's not like a guy, like Luka. I mean, even though they missed some games, right? It was only 16. I mean, Paul George missed like 40 or 50 games this year. So this team is used to playing without him. But they did play like kind of around that 8 seed level, right? And the Pelicans have up their level right to that here. So with Paul George missing, Tyler, I'm a little flustered because everything I prepared got Jimmy Butler thrown behind me, in the trash. Why don't you guide me through it, Tyler? Let's start with you. How do we approach this game tonight? I
got to take the Pelicans now spread with no Paul George. I mean, they're going to have CJ. They're going to have Brandon Ingram out there. Joe Val should have his way with Zubac. Mm-hmm. Like, I got to take the Pelicans here -1. I think they're going to pick up the win. They're going to get that 8 seed. I mean, CJ's going to have himself a day. Brandon Ingram's going to have himself a game also. CJ McCollum's points plus assists is set at 30.5 again. He hit that number just in points last game. So definitely going to bet that again. And then Brandon Ingram's points plus rebounds plus assists is set at 36.5. He got up over that number also in the last game.
He was at 37.
Hey, I'll take it. It's a win.
Yeah, I know. It cashed for us, but yeah.
Yeah, so I'm betting both of those again. And then performance doubles in this game I like. Of course, I want to go to the CJ 25 plus and win. And they have him 28 plus points and win also. I'll be betting both of those and his 4+ threes and win.
All right. AP, how are you approaching this game?
Yeah, I was kicking myself immediately the other night when I saw the Pelicans start. And I think a lot of us were kind of confused on what to do. And I'm talking about the slate on on Wednesday. And we didn't really know what to do with this Pelicans team. Like, they were priced appropriately. And you have Ingram and McCollum who kind of take from each other in a healthy team. But man, I mean, we saw exactly what they're going to do. I mean, these guys are going to play big minutes. They're going to run the offense. Herb Jones is just going to be the absolute man on defense. The dude looks incredible. And then you got Joe Val there in the paint. Like, this team is tough, like really tough, in my opinion, on the inside. And you got two guys that can score and offensively are tough. I think they're a team that, I mean, they're obviously not going to beat the Suns or anything like that, but I think they're going to win tonight against, a team without Paul George. Now, Paul George was back, I would side with the Clippers in a heartbeat, just like I would if we had that game against the Wolves again the other night. Run that game 10 times. I think the Clippers win 7 out of 10, maybe 8. And I just think that the better team that night were the Wolves. And I have the Wolves upsetting the Grizzlies. I'm not backtracking at all. So it says a lot. So I'm saying a lot about what I think about this Pelicans team. And I think they carry a lot of momentum and get a win tonight, get into the playoffs, maybe win one game against the Suns. And I think that's a victory for this team. And I think, they get maybe a motivated Zion back. I've seen him on the sidelines doing 360 dunks and stuff. Looks like he's lost some weight. I don't know what you guys think, but he's not as fat as he looked earlier on in the season when we had the fat Zion narratives going on. But if you get Zion on this team too, I mean, Ingram, McCollum, Herb Jones, I don't even know what you do. Do you ship Joe Val? I mean, I don't know what you do. it's kind of awkward down there in the paint. But I think the Pelicans get a nice win again tonight. I love that they're getting a point here, but I think they win by 5 or 6.
Glockoma.
Yeah, it looks like I think we're all going to hold hands on this one. I think it's if Paul George was in, easily Clippers for me. But now that he's out, you're asking Reggie Jackson to do a lot. You're asking Marcus Morris to do a lot, which he looks like a shell of himself this season without Paul George.
We're forgetting my guy Norm Powell.
Storm and Norman. I love him for
he
sure.
He becomes
but
the number
like,
one option on offense, right?
But yeah, for sure. Like I think Reggie and Norman are going to have great games. And from a DFS perspective, I think they're going to be in my lineup tonight for sure. It's just the rest of the guys, right? Can Marcus Morris really do what he's been doing in the past years in the playoffs? Because I know against the Mavs, I'm so familiar with that. Marcus Morris was like a 20-10 guy every single night against the Mavs. And he was just automatic. Like he would just kill us. But now like this year, since Paul George has missed so much time, he hasn't looked like himself. He's not as alpha as he once was. So yeah, I think the Pelicans take it here. They use this win as a learning moment. They take it to Phoenix, try to take 1 or 2 games. And then, if they do, then they consider that a win, like AP said. And, maybe that inspires Zion from the sideline to lose a couple more pounds in the summer, stay in shape, want to stay in New Orleans and not demand a trade. Who knows? Like it's definitely a logjam over there in New Orleans right now. Obviously I don't think Zion and Joval are the best fit together. I think you'd have to choose one, but if Joval performs well in this playoffs, you could easily trade him off and, get some guards in return, trade Devontae Graham, who seems to be sitting at the end of the bench behind Jose Alvarado now. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Pelicans as well to win. I think CJ, he's just got that veteran leadership that's going to lead them to the win tonight. And then Brandon Ingram, he only played 30 minutes last game, which was interesting coming off of an injury. I think those minutes will get elevated tonight. And, those two guys are going to play a ton, CJ and Brandon Ingram, and lead them to victory.
Tyler, have you found some winning props for us here?
We already went over this game when the CJ McCollum one. We're talking Pelicans, right?
Sorry. Yeah, you did already give them out. Okay. DFS, who are you targeting there, AP?
Yeah, I mean, I go back to it's a 2-game slate. All these guys are going to get ownership. It's just like a function of how it works. But I look at CJ and I look at Garland, and it's like, man, they're so close in price, and you wonder if people kind of switch to play. Like, I wonder if everyone saw that game the other day, and now these guys end up more popular than what they were, and we have a lower total here, and so I might go the contrarian route and be heavier exposed to this first game, hoping for a better game environment. We'll see. I don't have my full, like the heat map's not filled out yet. I haven't, I haven't copied Glock's homework with the playbook yet. So once I go in there and do that and check Glock's notes, I'll fine tune what I'm thinking. But I think I think this game on paper has the better plays when you just factor pricing and all things fantasy. Especially the Clippers side. Norman Powell, he's going to be the chalk of the slate. Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, all guys that are priced pretty low. The bigs, I'm not really sure what to do with. Like, I don't want to play Zubac, and I wonder if Ty Lue goes small here. I wonder if like Joval beats him up early, and I think Ty Lue, smart coach, I think he's one of the better coaches in the NBA. What if he just like goes full small, gets Covington in there, and just like throws out a small ball lineup and focuses more on like hitting threes and stuff? I'm not sure. I don't have a good read here on the bigs and what they do, but that seems like a path that could happen. But DFS wise, it's pretty clear cut in that Norm Powell and Morris and Jackson are going to be popular. Then you can run it back with CJ, with Ingram. I think Herb Jones is fine too as a value. I'm just not sold on what to do with the bigs here.
All right. And of course, for access to the heat map and to Glaucoma's playbook, head on over to runpuresports.com. Use that promo code GetBets. Glaucoma, who are you looking for in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think as most other people, they're going to love this game stack overall. Obviously, Reggie Jackson, he was already underpriced coming into it, and I listed him as a building block with Paul George in, so now he just becomes an even stronger play. I consider him the alpha of the Clippers offense now. He played 41 minutes last game. I assume the same thing's going to happen here. I actually played 42 minutes, sorry. So, yeah, I mean, he only sat 6 minutes of last game. That's incredible to me. Norman Powell, I think, would be my next favorite. And Marcus Morris right now, I think he's going to be the big decision point on this slate, because right now he's projecting as the highest owned player. But like I said previously in the breakdown, like he just seems like he's somewhat a shell of himself. And I know it's a great spot. He's super cheap, and he's going to assume more usage now with Paul George out. But I might lean playing someone like Norman Powell, Terrence Mann, Nicholas Batum over Marcus Morris, just to get a little different on this slate, right? Because I think most people want to play, 3 to 4 Clippers at least. And, if you make a tough fade at the top, someone that's high owned like Marcus Morris, you can automatically get different. So that's kind of where I'm thinking on the Clippers side. And then, on the Pelicans side, run it back with CJ. He'd be my preference. Jonas Valanciunas, it doesn't seem like they're holding him back anymore. He's going to play 35 plus minutes. And then Brandon Ingram as well, only played 30 minutes last game, but still produced at a high clip. So, if those minutes get bumped up here, I think this game makes for like a premier game stack. And, it's a 2-game slate. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking. I just think, considering a Morris fade will make you a little different on this slate, I think, just seeing the ownership that he's coming with.
All right, question for you and AP. We'll start with you, Glock. Is Kennard the pivot off Powell chalk, or you just eat the chalk here? What do you think?
Kennard's questionable, so we'll have to see what his status is for the game. I would definitely not want to pivot off of Powell. It'd be more like a Marcus Morris to Kennard pivot for me personally. I think Norman Powell, he's looked great since he's come back from injury. He's going to chuck, and, I'm going to live and die with anyone that comes into the game and shoots for my money. So I'll live with that. And then, I'll keep the fades for people like Marcus Morris, where it's kind of like, they're either really into the game or really out. So
AP, how do you feel about Norm Powell chalk?
Yeah, I think it's good chalk. I think it's chalk you want to eat. You're definitely not playing Luke Kennard. I mean, it's the playoffs, guys. Like we know what like these guys, the veteran guys, are gonna play the guys that they trust. Especially a guy like Ty Lue. What you want to think about is like, how's the game going to play out? And how I see it playing out is going smaller, but that means with like a Robert Covington type coming in, not necessarily a Luke Kennard. I even think like probably Terrence Mann over a Luke Kennard.
All right. This is for you, Tyler. How about Nicholas Batum over 15.5 PRA? That's, I guess, assuming the small ball happens.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you're kind of betting that prop, hoping the small ball happens and he plays extended minutes and gets a couple of those threes out of the corner, grabs you some rebounds. But at that low number, he could definitely get there if they go into small ball mode.
Seems like a parlay, though, right? Because not only do you have to get the extended minutes, you got to get there as well.
Yeah.
So, I could see it. It feels like it's either going to cruise over, right? And it'll be one of the easy props you crush at halftime, or it could not get there. This one's for you, too, as well, Tyler. Do you think if the Clippers go small, do you think that Joe Val will get knocked out and put Nance higher?
It could.
I don't think they would
push Nance into like a small ball center spot.
I think
they got to
would
pull
just roll
Joe Val
big
off the floor.
Yeah, I think that Joe Val could. I don't know. I don't know if Willie Green. Of course, he's a first-year coach, so we don't have much to go on how he's going to do this. But I don't know if he's going to get away from what he does all season. Do you guys have a thought on that? On if the Clippers go small, how you think that Willie Green and the Pelicans would react to that? What do you think, Glock?
I don't know if they'll. I don't know if I'm not convinced they'll go small, because, like, I think Willie Green is committed to playing Joe Val. As hard as it seems, like looking at his game logs, it's kind of inconsistent. But if you remember earlier in the season when they played the Clippers, I think it was like a day matinee game on a Saturday or someone. I don't think many people were like paying attention, but Jonas Valanciunas went for like 70 DK, 39 points, 15 rebounds, shot 7 of 8 from 3. So I think, since Joe Val can actually stretch the floor somewhat, I think it would be harder to play him off. Personally, maybe if he was like someone like a Clint Capella who can't really stretch the floor and shoot from the outside, then we could start talking about, okay, maybe like someone else gets into the rotation. But I think Joe Val, if he can hit that outside shot, which he's shown he can, I think he'll stay in the game and establish his size. So I don't think I'm looking at the game in that aspect. I actually think, I might play Jonas Valanciunas tonight, even with people thinking that the Clips might go small. I think if they do, it's just an advantage for Joe Val personally.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Thinking through it, like I like that Glock, and I honestly think you could go Zubac and Joe Val. Like, I mean, I think both guys, like, I don't like. I think Joval would just, if the Clippers go small, I think they just pound it with Joval and he gets a ton of easy buckets. So
Yeah.
no, I like that call a lot.
Yeah, Dave agrees too. He says if they leave Joval out there and Jackson Hayes is the guy that goes down. Glock and AP. We'll start with you, Glock. Reggie or Zubac or Powell if you're only playing one.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Reggie, but I love Reggie and Powell. I mean, I like Zubac too. Honestly, those three are great options. I put them ahead of Marcus Morris. Like I said, I think those three will be high on my priority list from the Clippers.
AP, how would you rank those guys?
Yeah, I would say I would agree with that. Exactly like Glock said.
Okay. All right, sounds good. And Greg Russo, we want to thank him. Usually he just fast forwards to this segment, but he's hanging out with us for the whole show. But we're here, Greg. You made it. It is the best bets in Glockoma. I'll start with you. What's your best bet for tonight? Side, total, or prop?
I might be taking your spread, but I'm gonna go Atlanta -2. I think.
Yeah, we can double up today.
Best.
4 people, 2 games. It's allowed.
Yeah, I think that's my best bet. I think Atlanta breaks Gregory Russo's trend of all the homes team winning tonight. Atlanta takes it on the road against a younger Cleveland team.
All right, AP, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think the other consensus pick here is the Pelicans +1. So,
all right, Tyler, you got a prop for us, a performance double?
Yeah, we'll go with CJ McCollum over 30.5 points plus assists. Go right back to that prop. And as for the performance double, I'm just going to take his 4+ threes and win again. Okay. It's at +400.
That's a great number. And I'm going to take the Hawks -2 as well. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Hey, we did it in pretty good time. We got time for the Major League Baseball show, so the people will be able to catch that over on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. But that's not all we have, AP. You want to let them know what we have going on at Run Pure Sports this weekend?
Yeah, I believe more MMA action. We got obviously NBA all weekend and all next week. And baseball is right in the swing of things. So our NBA shows are now premium only, so you got to be a member to sign up for those shows. But yeah, tons and tons of content. We do have a new code right now. It's going to get you 36% off your first payment over here at runpuresports.com. USFL 36.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we
Don't forget about that. Saturday. Yeah,
Saturday. Yep.
Unbelievable. It never stops.
Yeah, so we talk about it all the time, but other companies out there, what they'll do is hey, a new sport is coming out. Let's this sport's going to be $200. Sign up and come get it. Not us. We're giving you a discount, so sign up, use that code, and come and run pure.
All right. We will have Glockoma back with us on Monday, and we'll be breaking down those exciting NBA games and, of course, all the hot takes from the weekend, right? Because there's nothing better than completely overreacting to game one of a playoff series. So make sure you join us for that. Tyler, anything I left out? They always say that you have no words of wisdom. Did you prepare something for us today?
I did not. I mean, you know me, I just bring the winners and break down the game. So that's all I got for us.
And we are fine with that. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. Glockoma, AP, wonderful to have you sharing the thoughts. And it was pretty cool. A lot of differing perspectives here. We didn't just come on and all kind of parrot the same ideas here. A lot of different ideas for these guys to go ahead and take with them as they're breaking down these series. So really enjoyed the show today. Excited for Monday's show as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remember, head on over to runpuresports.com. Use that promo code USFL36, and we will see you on Monday. Run Pure.